Hello. She likes to start the camera before I'm ready so that I'm not nervous. Welcome to episode 2 of the Success Society. I'm your host, Heather Suchma. I'm so happy that we've made it to episode 2. Episode 1 recording, I was very nervous. We did about 10,000 takes, but this will really be one take. So today I want to talk, there's so many things that I want to talk about. First, let me get over my nerves and tell you about my favorite wine, which you'll catch me drinking very regularly. It's the Trader Joe's Pinot Grigio, the best. $2.99 a bottle. If Trader Joe's is far away from you, but you have access, it's worth the drive. We literally buy it by the case. So 12 bottles of wine for, I think, $37. The best, the best, the best. It tastes more like Sauvignon Blanc than it does a Pinot Grigio, but maybe it just has more flavor than some Pinot Grigios, but it's really light, really easy to drink. I like ice in it. Okay, enough about wine. Okay, so the first episode, or the first real talking, I'm getting so nervous, lazy.
Don't be nervous.
I'm getting so nervous. Okay, so the first point, and I have so much that I want to say that I'm going to have to do everything I can to stay on track because that's not my personality. But there's so much fear associated with leaving a company or leaving a comfortable position or what you already know. And I think there's a lot of lies and a lot of fear mongering going on when it comes to going off on your own, especially if it's from an employer who wants to keep you in place. So whether you're in the beauty industry or not, this will be valuable to you. Just replace everything that I'm saying with the right people or the right place. It's all valuable information. So I come from the beauty industry, obviously. I did hair for 10 years, but I worked for a big company for 7 years. I loved that company. I loved everything about that company. Live, die for that company. But I feel like probably 6 years in, I just felt like I was ready to go. I was ready to be out on my own. And I don't even know at first that I had realized that that's how I was feeling. I was just feeling the sense of tension and unhappiness, dis-ease, I guess you could say. And one of my best friend at the time, who I worked with, went on a mission trip. So she was gone. And in that time, I think not having my best friend there, I think I definitely missed her. So it made me even more edgy. And she comes back and she's like, I'm ready to leave. And as soon as she said that, I'm like, me too, let's go together, let's do this. And so we started the hunt for finding places to work on our own, but we dealt with the same fears that each and every person is dealing with now, especially if you're working for a commissioned salon. It's very scary, and I feel like there's a lot of lies and a lot of people with authority saying things and very, very scary things about you going off on your own. And when somebody from a place of authority tells you something, somebody that you trust and somebody that you feel like, somebody that's above you, you trust what they're saying. So I just think it's very wrong. And like I said maybe I didn't say it, it was probably in one of the many takes that we took for episode 1, but I had to shed light on this. I've been feeling tension. I want to meet up with every person that's ready to leave their position. I want to have a glass of wine with everybody and really talk with them. Well, I can't do that, so this is it publicly. I just want to say, do not be afraid, but everything needs to be entered to, obviously. Every decision needs to be an educated decision. But the first thing that I want to address, and I'm going to do my very best to stay on topic. I don't even have a goal. How long do we want this?
However long you want.
I'm just going to keep talking. But I'm going to do my best to stay on topic with the fear and the lies. So we'll start there, and then there's so much more that goes along with this, because it's not about not being afraid and jumping off the cliff. You got to know, how far down is the cliff? What am I going to do when I get to the bottom of the cliff? There's many more things. But today, it's just about the fear itself. So I reached out to one of my friends, and it's been a while, and now I'm somewhat removed from the industry. And when I think about leaving, if I going back now, all the risks that I've taken and the risks that I'm taking right now, this day for 2017, between you and I, for the first time, I'm a little afraid. And we were in the car last night, and I was talking to Steven. Tori was in the back seat, my oldest daughter who's 3. My 1-year-old obviously doesn't have any idea what the hell we're saying. But I was telling Steven, like, he's asking how my heart is, and I'm telling him for the first time, I'm afraid. And I mean, I've been afraid about taking chances before, but for the first time, I'm actually afraid of 2017 with all the growth that we have. 20 it's so much. But for the first time now, whenever I started, you don't know what you don't know, and you don't even know that you don't know that. So it's not that scary. You just believe in yourself, or at least that's how I've always been. But now, I know that I don't know what I don't know, so I'm a little scared, and it's just taking it day by day. Literally every single day. If I look 2 weeks in advance, I freak out. Like, how am I going to get all this done? How's our team going to do all of this? But it's a day-by-day thing. So I know fear. I understand fear. But when I'm talking with somebody and they're asking me questions and having fear about leaving the commission salon environment, I'm like, why are you scared? Why? But I've been there, so I know what that's like. But now having a different perspective, there's nothing to be afraid of if you're really ready to go, which again, that's episode 3. Let me reel it back in.
What are some of the things that
oh yes, so I reached out to one of my friends. I see how sidetracked I get, and I've only had a few sips of wine. Okay, so I reached out to one of my friends who is at a commission salon, and I'm like, okay, so what are some of the things that they tell you to stop you from going out on your own? So what's the first comment?
You will never make it. Taxes are too hard.
Wait. Reverse. You will never make it. Shall I take a drink of wine first before I dig into that? You will never make it. Number one, I cannot believe, I think in my time, maybe I blocked it out, but at that time, I don't think anybody of authority ever looked at me in my face. I don't think I ever heard it said out loud, you won't make it out there on your own. Maybe I did, but maybe
you just didn't hear it that way.
It's the most absurd thing anybody could ever say. Who the hell has any knowledge of knowing whether you will or won't make it on your own? It's just so dumb. It's dumb. So where's it coming from? To me, and remember, if you're not in the salon industry and you're wanting to do something on your own, maybe it's not your boss telling you this, because I think most bosses probably, I would imagine, wouldn't tell you you're never going to make it out on your own. But okay, so let's say it's your husband or your wife or your mom, or maybe this is all just stuff that you have in your head. But anybody who's saying you're not going to make it, it's coming from one of two places. It's coming from a place of fear. So if it's your boss telling you you're not going to make it, they're scared they're going to lose you, and they obviously want to keep you exactly where you're at, making money for their company. If it's your spouse or somebody very close to you, the fear of the unknown, what's it going to be like? Okay, if now you work all of these hours now, so then if you take on your own business, then what is it going to be like? I'm really never going to see you. No, you're never going to make it. We have this comfortable position, blah, blah, blah. Or it's coming from somebody who's really bitter and either has gone out on their own and hasn't been successful, or is so hungry to go out on their own, but they're living in so much discomfort with themselves because they haven't made the leap, that they're angry and they're going to tell anybody and everybody that they can that you can't make it. I was going to give an analogy, but I won't do it. Maybe once I get to know you guys better, maybe then I'll start giving real analogies, but it's bullshit. No matter what, that's the dumbest, most ignorant thing that somebody can tell you. You're never going to make it. That is bullshit. And the thing is, they're not telling you, they're telling a room of people. You guys can't make it. Who the hell are you telling me? I have a completely different story. I have a completely different clientele than this person sitting next to me. I have a completely different business plan. Like, it's dumb. There's no logic to that. And if you want to get, I think about it this way. whoever it is, let's say if it is your boss or somebody above you telling you, a company telling you, you're not going to make it on your own, you need to stay with us, we've already established this, you're never going to make it on your own, it's too hard. They wouldn't have their own company if they wouldn't have ventured out on their own. How dumb is that for somebody? That would be like me telling one of my team members who had bigger ambitions to go out on their own, but selfishly I want to keep them, which, side note, I totally understand that your employees are your assets, I totally get that, but that would be as dumb as me telling them, you're never going to make it on your own. Hello, they're working for people who have done that on their own. So it's so dumb and it's so offensive that somebody would say something. I was lucky enough, I had a rough childhood, who didn't, but I was lucky enough to have a mom who made me believe without a doubt in my mind that I could do absolutely anything. I could be anyone, I could do anything that I put my mind to. I truly do believe that. I swear to God, I feel like if I wanted to be a doctor, I feel like I could be a doctor. I would have to do a lot of work, but I feel confident that I would do whatever it is that I had to do to get there. So somebody telling me that I can't do something is bullshit, and it's bullshit for you, so don't believe that. Next topic.
Taxes are too hard.
Okay. I don't know how to do taxes.
They make apps for this now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's apps for it. There are people who do that for a living. So it's about planning in advance and figuring out, making phone calls, what's it going to cost to take care of my taxes. Steven, my husband, took care of my taxes and my friend's taxes. It's sales taxes. That's what they're talking about. It's sales tax. So if you buy product, in the hair world, if you're buying product, you have to keep track of sales tax. That was creepy. Okay. You have to keep track of sales tax and you got to pay your taxes. It's not that big of a deal. I promise you, I will find out detailed information, possible names, apps, whatever it is that I can get you to where that's not even a question. You'll know how much it costs. Maybe I'll have a guest on this couch at some time. Maybe I'll have an accountant. If I can find a nice accountant friend who works with small businesses. People do it all the time. That's so dumb. I'm not an accountant. I would never do my own taxes, nor should you. There's people who do that. Okay.
You will lose half of your clientele.
Do what?
You're doubling your profit. I mean, you're not going to lose half of your clientele, but it doesn't matter. You're doubling your profit.
That's exactly it. Okay, so if you are making, there's so much to this. There's a whole nother layer with commission salons. But if you're making a percentage, let's say 50%, and that is being very, 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 very generous. But let's say you're making 50% on your own, working for somebody else. And they're scaring you. Somebody with authority is telling you there's no way. Whoever's coming to you is coming to you because of our brand. They're coming to see this company because they trust this brand. We know that's not true. You know that's not true. If you have worked hard and you know your clientele, they're there for you. They may have come initially because they trusted the name, but they're there for you. I go to the guy that I see now for him. I don't care where he went. I would follow him, maybe not too far because lazy, busy, but I would go see him wherever he went. Let me tell you, whenever I left the company that I was with, I had done about 6 months worth of whispering into my clients' ears. Again, a whole nother conversation on the how-to, the actual exit plan. But I had done my due diligence and letting people know. I knew that I was going to lose some people. I don't feel like social media was, how long ago did I leave? How old am I? What's happening? It wasn't that long ago. 7 years ago, maybe? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a while. Okay, but 7 years ago, I feel like I didn't even have an Instagram. Was Instagram around 7 years ago? I don't know. But it's not like I had social media, like find me on Facebook, whatever. It wasn't like that. So I was slipping people my business cards and letting them know. I do know that I was moving a few miles, maybe 5 miles away from where I was at the time, and I knew that I was going to lose some people, but I knew I had built a relationship with these people, such a personal thing. They knew I was going to take such good care of them, and we had a relationship. So if you have that relationship with your people are going to wait in line for Chick-fil-A. Let's put it there. There's a Taco Bell next door. Nobody's in line at Taco Bell at lunchtime. Chick-fil-A is wrapped around the corner. You're gonna wait in line at Chick-fil-A, aren't you? Are you Chick-fil-A or are you Taco Bell? If you're Chick-fil-A, go do your thing, okay? So yes, you will lose some clientele, but you're not Taco Bell. And if you are, then maybe work on being Chick-fil-A first. I had somebody look up our last name in a phone book, and I think they called Steven's grandfather, trying to find me so that I could do their hair. They were an older person, obviously, look at their phone book, but that's how people will go out of their way to find you. This is not, have you ever lost a nail person? Nail people are very different at a lot of nail salons. All of a sudden, they're just not there, you don't know their real name, and they sure as heck didn't tell you they were gonna leave. So this is not that. You have personal relationships, and you're telling them where you're going. You're gonna be fine. So that's bullshit. Bullshit number 2, 3. Bullshit number 3. Okay.
You won't be busy. That goes along with losing your clientele. They just pile it on.
Now, I can tell you that I never, ever, ever settled in with slow times. But it was the same way in a commission salon. It is so stressful when you're dead, and maybe you're dead when it rains it pours, you know? Maybe you're dead for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and you start to have that panic. And if you're working in a commission salon, and if you're working at a place like I worked at, all it is commission. There is no hourly pay. And so you feel the pain when you're half as busy as you normally are. But then all of a sudden, and I know you all feel this way, you are 10 times too busy, you don't have time to eat, there's no time to do anything, you're bitching. I'm cussing a lot, I'm very sorry. I'm very
It's the wine.
Spicy. No, I'm actually just in a very spicy mood. But you're complaining that you're so busy you don't have time to do anything, and you tell yourself, I would always tell myself, okay, the next time I'm kind of slow, I'm going to enjoy it, especially when I was working for myself. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to go see a movie in the middle of the day. I'm going to go surprise my husband with lunch. I never did it because I never settled into that, but you should. Now looking outside of the situation, hindsight is 20/20, there's always going to be ebbs and flows. You have to prepare for that. You have to know that that's going to happen, and whether you're comfortable in it or not, a fact is a fact, and it will ebb and flow. Totally normal.
You have to book your own appointments.
Oh my gosh, I have to answer a text message? And that's being old school. I used to write my appointments down. I never used any technology. I know how to use a computer. I know how to turn most of them on. And I know how to open Word and type things and how to send an email. That's about all I know how to do. And yet I managed to book all my own appointments. And I did it on a paper book, but now there's Style Seat. There's
Booker.
What's the one? No, the one we're associated
Style
with.
Seat.
No.
Shore.com.
Shore.com. There's plenty of apps that take care of everything for you, where people only book through Shore.com. Let's say they're only booking through your app. They're only booking through that. You're not answering your text at 10 o'clock at night trying to fit somebody in. Everything is done digitally now. Very easy. It's made for people, creative minds like us. So much good technology. That's so insane that you're not going to be able to figure out how to book an appointment. Even if you're old school like me and you like pencil and paper and you're answering people's texts or phone calls. Okay. Next.
Education is expensive.
Okay, you want to start so I can take a drink?
Yeah, that's bullshit. Education is so cheap, it's free. All vendors, local beauty vendors, offer free education, free classes, Brazilian blowout classes, different product knowledge courses. So many free things out there.
Not to mention online stuff, webinar stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a YouTube tutorial away.
Oh, that is silly. And your entrepreneurship classes are how to better your business itself. Hi, right here, free. So that is dumb. Now, may not be in the same setting that you're used to. Your salon may not set it up, and it may not be your whole salon going. But there are plenty of places to find free education. And why does it have to be free? You will be able to afford nice education. You will be able to afford a trip to California to see your favorite artist do their work. So you can find plenty of free stuff, but you're also going to have money to be able to do what you need to do and fly and see who you want to see. So
you have to work long hours to finish and start
Your own
your
clients.
guest by yourself. Yes.
Okay, so you get to work whatever hours you choose to do. Now, at the salon that I came from, I specialized in color, which this is very important because I think that some people fear, and I feared, and I feel like this was part of what they did tell me, or what part of the scare tactic was then, is, well, you only do color, so who's going to blow dry your clients? I didn't even know how to use a blow dryer other than on my own hair. I never picked up a blow dryer. I did a mad blonde highlight. I was great at color, great toners, whatever, but then I sent them off. Everything was taken care of for me, sent them off to get their cut or blow dry with somebody else. So part of the fear in leaving, and the friend that I left with was not a cutter. She was another color specialist. But guess what? You network. So the place that we went to before we opened our own business, the place that we went to, I networked and found a hair cutter that I loved, and we kept him busy, and he took care of our guests. It was perfect. What was the original question?
You have to work longer hours to start and finish your guests by yourself.
Okay. Well, you can also hire an assistant and pay them not a whole lot you can pay them not a whole lot in money, but they'll be learning in education and watching you and experience. So if you need an assistant, figure out what does that look like and how can I make that happen. You don't need an assistant when you're leaving out on your own. You can book enough time. I think coming from a big commission salon, I was on 40-minute highlights, so my appointments were every 40 minutes. A color was a 20-minute appointment. And so yes, my appointments were longer. I left myself an hour for color to be able to blow dry them at the end, or I would book their hair appointment with a friend, whoever else is in the building, to take care of them. But it's not that different. You book a little bit longer, but you are making the profit, so who cares if you're spending more time with them? Imagine, gasp, spending more quality time with your guest. Insane. Okay.
Healthcare is expensive.
Yes,
not even all salons provide that.
Exactly. And even if you are at a salon, healthcare is expensive. That's being taken out of your check. Isn't Obamacare still a thing? Isn't that still a thing?
It is right now.
Isn't there? It's still a thing right now. So there's open market? What do they call it? There's that.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's also private plans. That's expensive. I get it. I was on a private plan. Don't even get me started about the plan that I was on. But it's doable. Plenty of small businesses, plenty of people that work for themselves figure out healthcare. Again, all of these things that they're telling you, in the setting that it's being told to you in and the person that's saying it, it is scary. I get that. But when you pick it apart, it makes no sense. How would all of these people, the salon suite industry is booming. It's booming. The market is being flooded with salon suites opening up. Which, by the way, does not concern me because I am a Chick-fil-A, not a Taco Bell. So I can pop in anywhere and our business can work. I forgot where I was going. Oh, but the salon suite industry is booming. So if all of these men and women working for themselves can figure out healthcare and all of these other obstacles that you guys are being told are impossible to pass over, how does that make any sense? This is the direction the industry is going. And the further and further that the industry goes this way, that people are going to be working for themselves, the more and more fear they're going to try to instill. Either they're going to change their business plan and make a way where they can accommodate people like you who want to be out on their own, or they're going to do everything they can to keep you in place. And first, I think it's, all the benefits. This is what we do. This is how great it is to work for us. These are the trips I'll send you on. These are the bonuses. This is the car I'll give you. Amazing things. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Again, where I came from, loved it. And now, looking back, I respect the owners and the founders of that company more than ever. I now understand as an owner how difficult every decision you have to make, and I understand why founders and why owners of companies are trying to keep you in place. And I understand why they're trying to cause fear to keep you in place. Do I think it's right? No, I do not. And so that's why I'm speaking, but I do understand where they're coming from. I completely forgot where this started or where I was trying to end this.
Well, they ended their message with, "That's what they always tell us."
Oh, so with the industry, with the industry heading in this direction where people are working for themselves, I think they've given as much as they can give in benefits and trips and bonuses. And now it's lawyers. You have lawyers talking to you. I know of companies who new contracts are being sent out. Non-compete, you can't get a bonus until you sign this non-compete, blah, blah, blah. There's ways around everything. You need to respect, you need to understand what you're signing. You need to understand if you're making a decision, what does that mean with what I've already signed. You have to be very aware, but there's a reason that they're trying to scare you so hard. It's because that's the way the industry is going. So all of these other people, if I've made it, and I didn't only make it, I made it out of where I was going. I successfully brought a strong clientele and built an even bigger clientele because guess what? Some people really liked that I was finally out of this big, crazy, hectic salon, and now I got to spend one-on-one time with them. I was shampooing them. I was blow drying them. I was booking their appointments. Who doesn't love me, right? So people actually will enjoy that. So you can actually grow your clientele nicely when you leave. I lost where I was going again. God, that sucks. But if I can make it, that's where I'm at. If I can make it, why couldn't you make it? And how is everybody else in filling up all of these salon suites? How is everybody else making it and paying their rent and being successful? It's just bullshit. 99% of what they tell you is bullshit, and you have to believe that by throwing logic and fact at their statements, even if it's coming from somebody you respect or somebody you have healthy fear for. It's bullshit. So, until episode 2, everybody go out and get episode 3. This was episode 2. Okay, so until episode 3, go out, get yourself a nice case of Trader Joe's Pinot Grigio, the best. I'm trying to think of how I can bribe you all to make my subscribers, to make this thing spread. How many subscribers do I have?
We're at 60.
60 subscribers. So I need to come up with something where if I have X amount of subscribers, then I will do 2 episodes a week. And I want to do, so I'm going to dangle that because I need to dream big, right? I should say 1,000, 2,000, whatever. Yeah. I need to dream big, but I really want to do. Yes. I need to move my Instagram people over. That's fine. But I want to do beauty episodes too. I get so many questions. Health episodes, even though I'm not responsible for my own health, my coach is, but all of that happens. But I want to give you more and more and more. But until episode 3, next week, cheers.